All right. So with that, I like to invite our expert who's going to guide you in today's session, and that is Sushmita. So over to you, Sushmita.
Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Myself, Shushmita Prashant. I'm an advanced certified lactation professional, infant and young child feeding specialist, and a child nutritionist, and mom of a 1.5-year-old baby girl. Helped over 500 plus mothers in their breastfeeding journey. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy to connect with you all today. And yeah, so coming to the today's webinar regarding pumping, I'm sure you have a lot of doubts. Most of the doubts will be cleared as you listen to it. Now, first, let's understand why pumping matters. Why do you actually have to pump? So, generally, let's understand that the milk in the breast has to be removed out. Only then your body will get the stimuli to produce more milk, right? So, in general, it is going to support a milk supply. Okay, so by chance if the baby is not latching well or not removing the milk effectively, pumping at the scheduled time will increase the supply. Okay, and provides feeding flexibility. By chance, if you're going back to work or you have some other works at home and you may need to offer bottles to the baby, in that case, pumping and offering would be a better option. Say that you are ill or you cannot feed the baby, this is a better option, right? Yeah, once again, ideal for working or busy moms. I'm sure pumping is going to take out the guilt of not offering your milk to the baby, right? Relief and comfort. Per se that you had an engorgement, the breast is too heavy and the baby is not able to latch on. In that case, pumping just for relief. You don't have to completely pump the milk out. Just for relief, if you start pumping a little, you could still manage the engorgement and oversupply or the clogged ducts as well. Okay, and yeah, special circumstances. By chance, if you had an a premature baby is in NICU and you cannot nurse the baby directly, in that case, expressing an offering in the hospital or even getting back to work until the baby latches is a better thing. Yeah, builds a milk stash. Now once again that you have planned to go back to work, and then pumping would give you that peace of mind. Okay, I have certain milk in the freezer, I could use it when I'm out. So basically, it's all planning when it comes to pumping, right? Okay, so when to start pumping? This is very much essential. I'm sure most of the mothers have a lot of doubts in this point. See, if your baby isn't latching after birth, you tried multiple times in the hospital and you notice due to end reason the latching is not happening, then start within few hours of birth, right? And if the breastfeeding is going well, your baby has latched, the baby is taking the feed, but still you need to pump. Say that your baby's weight gain is not good. The doctor has advised you to offer some express milk. In that case, start after 3 to 4 weeks. So this will ensure that your supply is also maintained and the baby also latching and taking your express milk. Okay. The next is returning back to work. I would say generally, start pumping 2 to 3 weeks before going to work, because only then you will get to know how much supply you are able to produce in that particular timing, how much your baby is taking in your time absence time, right? Accordingly, you could manage and plan. Like if you're going tomorrow from today, if you pump, then it may be little hassle for you. And yeah, wants to build a stash. Say that you just wanted to offer express milk, no particular reason, that is still fine. Start once the supply is established, right? So supply establishment will generally happen around 1.5 months. Okay, so it could be even before as well. And yeah, by chance, if you have premature baby and you have separated from the baby, maybe because of your health concern or baby's health concern, then start pumping immediately. All right. Now, coming to the types of breast pumps, the first one is the manual pump, where as you could see in this picture, you have to hold the pump in your hand with the the flange inside your breast, right? And you have to use your hands to press. So it's called as a manual or a hand pump. So definitely it is hand operated, as I told you, low cost compared to the electric ones, good for occasional use. Now say you're in the hospital, baby is latching, but still you are pumping when the baby is sleeping, or 1 or 2 uses in a day, then the manual pump is a better option. Next is the electric pump. Now in electric, we have single and a double electric pumps. Single electric pump is you will have one flange you could, fix onto your breast on one side. Whereas double is you could hold both the sides together and then the pumping could happen. Okay. Remember, you have to still hold with the electric pump. Okay. And you have the motor outside, as you could see in this picture, a tube which is connected to the motor. It is faster and more efficient. By chance, if you'll be pumping a lot, like say more than 3 times, 4 times in a day, then definitely I would suggest you to go for an electric pump. And next comes the wearable pumps. See, remember, it is based on your goal first. Okay, so wearable is basically, it's easy to put inside your nursing bra. You don't have to keep holding it. Sometimes it's not even visible that your pump is inside. Okay, so it's generally we call that as hands free. Okay, it is helpful only after your supply is established. Okay, so if you are planning to increase the supply, build up the stash, then electric pump, the second one, is the better option. Like say that your supply is good after 3 months, you have been latching the baby, your supply is all good. Now you wanted to go back to work, but in the workplace it requires some kind of convenience. Then the wearable pump is a better option. If not, you could use both electric and wearable. Whenever you want some break in between, you could put in the wearable and do the pumping. The otherwise electric pump should always be your primary pump. Okay, so for multitasking moms, I'm sure a wearable is also going to be helpful. Right. Now, yeah, once again, let me insist on this again. So choosing the right pump first is frequency of use. If you will be using daily or occasionally, daily, then definitely an electric pump is suggested. If the supply is established, then wearable also helps. Occasional pumping, then manual is a better option. Next is portability and noise. Go for the pumps which is compact, not bulky, and quiet models, I would say, like, not that kind of noisy ones, like you are, baby sleeping next to you. It may not be, easier. Suction strength and comfort. See, if you are getting a pump which is having different levels of suction strength or vacuum levels, you could actually customize your comfort level. Like instead of having 5 levels, if you have something which has 9 levels or 12 levels, you have different options to explore, right? So it should have adjustable settings for better milk comfort or the flow. Budget, definitely this has to be considered. When we take manual pump, you have somewhere from 1500 to even 3000, 4000 as well. And electric, again, once again, from 3 4K to you have even 20 30K as well. Right. So once again, wearable ones also 6K, 7K, up to 12K. So you just have to look into your budget, and I'm sure, you have to see whether it is affordable for you. All right. Now, yeah, let's understand the pump parts, right? So the first thing you need to know is most of the electric pumps, when you see, they will have 2-level adjustable suctions. Right, so I'll explain you in detail. There is stimulation expression mode, which is actually trying to mimic the baby's natural sucking pattern. I will explain you the pattern as well. Okay, the second one is ergonomically designed handle. So it should be easy to hold. You cannot hold something which is bulky, which you have to use 2 hands. Obviously, if you're double pumping, both the hands has to be have a better grip. Okay, so as you could see in this picture, the handle has to be in such a way that you could hold it better. An extremely soft silicone lined breast shield. Now, breast shield is something which would look like this, right? Now, this should be made up of silicone, so that it is not too much hard on your breast when the pumping happens. Okay. Yeah, and then a bottle to store the lead down. Obviously, you should have a collection bottle, as you could see in the picture 4, so that most of the pumps will have the bottle. They will give you along with the nipple closed, so that you can, close it and take it directly for the baby's feed. Okay, so for some pumps, the motor has to connect to the flange. Like say that you will have a something like this, a tube, which will connect one side to the motor, the other side would be connected to the, the flange. This is the flange part. Okay, right. So this has to connect over here. Okay. All right. The next slide, please. Yeah. So coming to the flange size. Now, any pump you have, say you have wearable or manual or, the electric ones, I mean the wearable ones. Now, as you could see, this is the flange sheet. I don't know if you're able to see clearly. Okay. Most pumps would have, a sheet like this. Okay. Now, without the shield, the pumps, this opening will have somewhere around 2.4 centimeter or 24 mm. Some pumps have 28 mm, some has 22 mm. It depends on the what pump you have. Now, when you start with the pumping, with or without the shield, only your nipple should move inside. It is just opposite to what we say in breastfeeding. When we say breastfeeding, the baby has to take the areola as well. While pumping, only the nipple should move inside and out. Okay, and there shouldn't be a lot of gap between the nipple and the flange tunnel. Okay, so let me keep this term as tunnel so that you remember this is the shield. Okay, now when the nipple enters, you could still see a lot of gap between the nipple and the tunnel. Okay, so in that case, two things could happen. One is you might get a lot of pain. Second thing is you won't be able to express more milk, right? So as you could see in this picture again, could you see the tunnel is there? The nipple is, the tunnel is too small. In that case, the nipple will rub on the sides of the flange and then it starts paining a lot. In that case, you need to try a larger size. But I'm sure most of the time our nipples will be way smaller than 2.4 centimeter. Very rarely some mothers will have around 2.4, I would say. And correct size, as you could see in this picture, the nipple is centered. Could you see only the nipple enters inside the tunnel? Okay. And it moves easily, not touching the corners, but more like a snug fit, I would say. Coming to the larger size, could you see in the third picture, the areola is also pulled in, right? So when excess areola goes in, as I told you, either pain or the milk output will be very less. Then you have to use a smaller size. Now, bigger or smaller size, based on what you would decide, it's based on your nipple size. I'll explain you later. As I told you, the flange size will affect the comfort of yours and milk output. Sometimes this improper size would lead to a lot of swelling, clogged ducts. Some mothers do get mastitis if they already have an oversupply issue. Okay, so definitely flange size is very, very important. Okay, now as I told you, how to get that flange size. Unfortunately, most of the pumps, other than some wearable brands, most pumps do not offer flange sizes. They come with default. This is, say, I have one pump which is 24, and when I put in the shield, this is 21. Okay, but it may not be still be perfect fit for most mothers. In that case, if your say if this is your nipple, you have to get the nipple diameter. Okay, the base of the nipple has to be measured. Now, how could you measure? As you could see in this picture, you could use a scale, place it from one end to the other end, and try to get the nipple size. Okay, so you shouldn't take the tip of the nipple, but the base, the inner part, this side. Okay, but sometimes I know it's very difficult. Once you see it would be like 1.7 centimeter, sometimes it could be 1.8. It keeps confusing. If you're someone who gets confused with the value, you have some like you could use other tools like something like this. This is a nipple ruler. But if you don't have this nipple ruler, basically in any stationery shop you will get a scale called Pro Circle. Remember during our school timings, with the geometry box, you will get one scale with lots of circles inside. Right? Now, you could use that also to fix in your nipples inside and try to get the base of the nipple. It shouldn't be too tight. It shouldn't be too loose. More like a snug fit. Now, whichever circle gives you a snug fit, now you need to measure that diameter. Now, that will be your nipple diameter. Got it, everyone? So, and one more thing is your nipple size could be different on both the breast. It won't be the same value. Now, say this nipple's diameter is 15 mm, 1.5 centimeter. Now, what I told, this is 24 or 21. In that case, I'm sure the gap is too much. In that case, I will get a flange insert, which would look something like this. Okay, you could get in different sizes. Now, say this is 15. So I will go for 1, 2, 3 mm bigger. Most of the time 1 mm bigger would help. So if this is 15, I will go for 16 or 17. Some companies offer only in odd numbers. So I'll get something like 17. What I would do is I will take the pump. I will not use the shield as of now because it doesn't fit. Instead of the shield, I will fix in that flange insert. Now this structure is called flange insert, which I fixed it. Can you see it's all fixed in? Then when I start pumping, only the nipple will move in. Like what we have done is we have sized down the diameter. Instead of 24, now it is just 15 or 17. All right, so measuring the nipple size is very, very important. Even 1 or 2 difference may not give you the right output. So once again, how to know whether the size is wrong? First is you notice sometimes the nipple keeps touching the sides of the flange, right? Sometimes when the pumping happens, the nipple gets sore and redness. And you're sure when you press your breast, you get more milk. But when you do the pumping, you won't get a lot of milk inside the breast. I'm sure if you're pumping within the first 2 minutes, you should notice at least drops of milk coming out. If you don't notice anything, just doubt the pump, not your supply directly. Okay, so poor milk flow is something you have to look for. All right. Yeah. Coming to the pump settings, once again, this is with respect to the electric and the variable as well. Okay. So most of the pumps which you have will have two modes. So one is the stimulation mode. Sometimes it's called as let down mode. Sometimes it's also called as the massage mode. Depending on the brands, the names differs. The next is the expression mode. Now let's understand how the breastfeeding pattern happens. Once a baby latches on, the initial 2 minutes would be a faster kind of movement, but light, not strong. Like the movement will be 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Why? Because the baby is stimulating your breast to bring the milk out. Once the milk comes out, your baby's sucking pattern will differ. Right? How they will start sucking is like a deeper, slower kind of suction. Suck, suck, pause. Suck, suck, pause. Like this, a slow, deeper kind of suction you would notice. Now, same thing, it applies to the pump as well. So once you start with the pump, you will have the first stimulation mode or the let down mode, sometimes called massage mode, which is faster, light suction to mimic the baby's initial sucking, that fast kind of movement. Most pumps have different levels, like 1 to 5, 1 to 12, like that. You could change the levels of the suction you feel. Okay. And next comes the expression mode. The moment you notice the milk drops coming out, you understood that the body is ready to expel the milk out. Now, in expression mode, once again, slower, deeper kind of suction, suck, suck, pause. Now, the number of times the cycle happens depend upon which level you fix on. Okay. All right. Now, the most pumps will switch automatically after 2 minutes to the expression mode, from stimulation to expression. But sometimes, some others, you won't get drops the first 2 minutes. Maybe you have to stimulate for another 2 minutes to get the milk out. In that case, you could manually get back to the stimulation mode until you wanted to see the milk drop coming out. Then only move to the expression mode. Just because it worked for one mother, the settings may not be the same for you as well. Okay, now timing and frequency. Now say that you have a newborn and your baby is not taking the feed, or you definitely have to pump more. I would suggest you to just mimic the baby's pattern. Obviously, newborns would take frequent feeds every 2 to 3 hours. Then you may also need to pump every 2 to 3 hours. So which accounts to about 8 to 12 times in a day. Okay. Now say that your supply is established, like, it's almost like 1 month, 1.5 months, 2 months, like that. And you are away from the baby for any reason. In that case, 4 to 6 sessions per day would be, benefitable. This number is depending upon your breast capacity. Like say that breast size doesn't matter here, but how much milk your breast could store at one time matters. Like say if my breast could store only 30 ml at one time, but overall in a day I will get 600 ml, that's fine. But at one time only 30 ml my breast could store, which means I have to pump more frequently to get the 600 ml. But if your breast could store somewhere around 90 ml, you could reduce the number of times you pump. You don't have to pump 8 times like me. You could pump 4 times or 6 times as well. And duration of pumping, I would say please don't sit and pump for 1 hour. I've seen mothers pumping for long duration. That's not going to help. It's not that longer you pump, the more supply you will get. It's not like that. 15 to 20 minutes, ideally, it's enough for one breast. 15 to 20 minutes on one side, then 15 to 20 minutes on the other side. And also remember, There's no rule that you should use the highest suction level to get more milk. Say if your pump is having from 1 to 12 level, don't start with level 12 so that thinking you will get more milk. That's not the case. Ideally, you should slowly increase one by one and see which level is giving you the comfort and good milk output. And definitely, please do not skip nighttime sessions during the early weeks. I know it is hectic, you just wanted to sleep, but night feedings and night pumping is very much essential to boost up the supply. You're doing all these to increase the supply, right? Then nighttime is the best time to start with. All right, now coming to storing of the pumped milk, definitely you could use a BPA-free bottles or glass bottles, or even nowadays you have milk bags as you could see in this picture with the levels marked over there. You could store the milk there, right? Soon after pumping. The milk should be, could be placed in the room temperature for even up to 4 hours, right? In the fridge, it could be kept up to 4 days. Remember the number 4 to 6 as of now. In the freezer, it is, it could be kept even up to 6 to 12 months as well. Right now, what you should keep in mind is, like, say you pumped around 10 o'clock and then you pump around 1 o'clock. So whatever you pumped in at the 10 o'clock timing, you placed in the refrigerator. You have another pumping session 1 o'clock. You have around 20-30 ml there. Now you have to mix both. In that case, there are multiple suggestions. Some say ideally you could simply take the milk from the fridge. You could mix the fresh milk with the cold milk is what some people say. But for some, they ideally say you have to place this freshly pumped milk into the fridge first. Let both the milk come to the same temperature and then you could mix it. Now already the 10 a.m. pump is inside pumped milk. Now the 12 or 1 a.m. 1 p.m. pump which you have, you have to first keep it in the refrigerator separately and then you could mix it. No harm even if you mix it directly also, but it's all studies which they say. Okay. All right. So, yeah, tips for successful pumping. First thing is, I know it is not easy to pump. Definitely, right? So you just have to stay relaxed and stay hydrated. When your baby is breastfeeding, it's a natural process. So, the lead on might be easier. But when you're pumping, you are using a machine. In that case, your mindset should be relaxed. You should think about the baby, I would say. Look at your baby's videos or touch your baby's hands or something. You could even smell your baby's clothing. This will induce oxytocin in your body, which is responsible for removing the milk from the breast. And even before pumping, you could gently massage your breast, turn upside down, clockwise, anti-clockwise, and then you could start with the pumping. And definitely do maintain some routine and clean the pump parts effectively. Now, when I say you don't have to keep sterilizing the pump parts every time. Like if you're someone who are pumping 8 times in a day, once a day, like say in the mornings, you could sterilize. Then later after every pumping, wash it thoroughly with running water or even warm water. That would help. Nowadays, there is a hack that soon after pumping, you could ziplock and keep it in the refrigerator and then you could take it out and start the pumping, but it's definitely your choice. If you do not feel like washing it every time, then you could ziplock and keep it, or if you're someone who's concerned, then wash it after every time, dry the pump parts and then use it. Ensure that there are no liquids or something which is kind of stuck on the parts of the pump. And remember this part, the tubular part which connects the motor and the main body, that should ensure that there is no milk or water entering inside this tube. If it enters, the suction may not be great. Okay, and if there is any discoloration or you notice any worn out parts, you have to replace it immediately. Okay, coming to the common pumping challenges. The first is, low milk output. Now, why you are not getting good milk output? First is infrequent pumping. As I told you, your body should get to know the baby's demand. So only when you frequently pump, your body will understand the cue and start producing more. And as I told you, using a wrong flange size. If your nipple size is 16 or 17 and you're using 24 breast pump sheet, then definitely it's not going to help, right? And low suction. right? So like you are using the lower suction, and if you put increase you will get more supply, but unknowingly you use the same thing, then you notice the milk supply is not great. Now, once again, the solution is you need to pump every 2 to 3 hourly, that too in the newborn phase. Recheck the flange fit. Please ensure that you are fixing the parts correctly. Even a little loose, fixing of parts will lead to a little change in the suction. You will yourself feel the suction is not great. Okay. And yeah, so use hands-on pumping. Like even when the pumping is happening, ideally what you could do is you could press your breast to enhance the flow through the pump. You just don't have to sit idly. Maybe you could press it like this gently, and stay hydrated and relaxed. As I told you, the more hydrated you are, the more relaxed you are, the supply flow will be great. The next is pain or discomfort. Once again, why will you get pain? If you're not putting the correct flange size according to your nipple size. Sometimes, as I told you, I've seen mothers using the higher suction, thinking that the more milk would be produced. Then that's one thing. Poor positioning. Now, say with respect to pumping, you shouldn't be falling forward and sitting as well. You shouldn't be leaning a lot as well. Sitting in a right, comfortable posture will be able to produce or expel more milk from your breast. And align the nipple correctly into the tunnel. Now this issue would majorly come with the wearable pumps, because you won't be able to see where the nipples are. If by chance if the nipple is somewhere touching the upper corner, lower corner on the side, then the suction is not great. You will always feel some kind of friction happening. Okay, so that might cause pain. So you should ensure the nipple is correctly fitting in the center of the tunnel, not on the sides. Okay. Next is clogged ducts. Obviously, say you have been pumping for good 2 to 3 hours. All of a sudden, you don't pump for 2 to 3 days. Again, you pump. Now, what this happens is this skip session could sometimes clog the milk ducts for some mothers, and pressure on the breast. Say that you haven't pumped for 4 hours. Your breasts are extremely filled with milk, and then you start pumping. That would be a lot of pain. Okay, so the solution is please do not miss sessions as much as possible. By chance, if you missed out, there's a heaviness on your breast, engorgement is there, gently massage with something like a ice pack or something. Then use with the least suction so that you don't get the pain, and increase it to your normal level of suction. Definitely wear loose clothing or bras. Do not wear something very tight, because if the breast gets engorged, now your tight clothing would also kind of be a bigger reason for the clogged duct. Okay. And pump burnout. Obviously, as I told you, fatigue, stress, and over pumping. I'm sure that you might get the guilt like, okay, why I am doing the pumping? I know breastfeeding could have been much easier. And people coming from outside giving you, all those advices, you are not feeding, you're taking an easy way and all. I'm sure it's not an easy way at all. In that case, I would suggest you, relax. You're doing the best what you could do. Okay. Take regular breaks in between. Make yourself comfortable. Just make a note of the timing you will pump. Schedule your day accordingly, right? And listen to some music or podcast. You could play with your baby, and definitely ask for a support. I'm sure pumping, looking after baby, washing the pump, sterilizing it, it's all too much. In that case, maybe you could ask your partner or someone family to help with washing the pump parts and air drying, and helping you. And I'm sure if you feel like there's something wrong with the pump, you don't notice what it is, definitely get help from a lactation consultant. All right. So once again, when to seek support? When do you want help of a lactation consultant? Now you noticed it's all fine, but still you don't know why the supply is not coming out. Please do not indulge into the lactation cookies or tablets, pop-in tablets, thinking that will increase the supply. It will, but along with proper frequent pumping or feeding. So if you feel a supply is too low, and if you notice baby is not gaining the weight appropriately, and by chance if you feel the pumping is very much painful or ineffective, please get some support rather than you doing some DIY. Right? So because the earlier you try to find out the root cause, it's easier to get rid of it quickly.
All right. So that was the session. We'll soon take question and answers, but I would like to take some time to speak about the Kindernest breast pump. We have been doing these webinars around lactation for a couple of years now, and we've helped more than I think at least 2 lakh mothers through these webinars over the past 2 years. But what we have seen is a lot of mothers, they have pump, but uh, it's not working properly because primarily major reason being the flange size is not properly adjusted, or it's not the right type of pump which is needed, like for if you have a low milk supply kind of issue, but mothers buying a wearable pump for low milk supply issue, uh, and also not knowing the scheduling of pumping, etc. So ultimately it is lack of knowledge, but also the lack of fit. So that is where our experts got together with the Kindernest breast pump manufacturers, and together over the last 3 months, our experts helped them design and develop this breast pump. So right now the market is mostly flooded with Chinese imported breast pumps, which are cheap, but they are not the right fit for the Indian body type, or they are mostly the European or American brands, which are typically very pricey. So parents just end up thinking that let's give formula, which obviously it's not ideal. But when faced with a very costly pump, formula seems like a better alternative, although it's not. So that is where we wanted to build something that is by India for Indian moms, and that is where the Kinderness breast pump comes in. And now, obviously, no pump without guidance can do the trick. So, with this pump, what we have done is if you buy the pump directly through their website, you get it in 50% discount, and also they will pass on the details of the customer to us, and our team will schedule a consultation with our lactation expert, where the expert can guide you with the schedule and other things as per your needs and your challenges. So after this webinar, I'll be sharing the link of the pump on the different groups. Remember, the discount is only for today. And also, this is a good pump if you wish to carry it in your hospital bag in the maternity kit, because we have seen more than 90% mothers facing breastfeeding challenges in the early days, at least. And as we mentioned in the webinar, if you're facing those challenges in the early days, the right time to pump is immediately. Now, most hospitals do provide a pump to use while you're in the hospital, but they again, it might not be the right fit. So our pump comes with variable flange sizes, so that you can easily maneuver the different sizes and find out what is the best size for yourself, and use that setting accordingly. That will be more comfortable as compared to what the common pump in hospital might be. Uh, Also, when you come back, you won't have a pump. So it's a good pump. It's a good starting pump, irrespective of what problem you have. And at 24.99, it's not something that will burn a hole in your pocket. So after the question and answer, if there are any more questions on the Kinderness pump, I'll be happy to take them. But let's move on to the question and answer right now. Also, let us know in chat, how did you like today's session? But for any questions, please raise your hand. I'll call out your name and then you can ask your question. Please do not ask general breastfeeding related questions today. I know Sushmita is a lactation expert and she is very well equipped to answer all of them, but I would like to stay on topic. So please restrict your questions only to pumping related concerns or issues, irrespective if you're a new mom or a breastfeeding mom, right? Okay. And do leave your comments on the about the webinar in general in the chat section. So Janaki ma'am, I've given you the permission to speak. Please ask your question.
Yeah, hi. This particular this pump, breast pump, actually. So I have checked in their website, and also in the Amazon, actually. So it says 5,000. I mean, where do I see this 2499?
Use this
Kind of
coupon
price?
code get 50
Uh,
on their
what is the
website.
coupon code here?
Wait, let me share the link with you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. Uh,
So, I mean, actually, I'm kind of 35 weeks pregnant now. So, so is it ideal for everyone? Or
yes,
because,
yes, ma'am.
we don't know, right? I mean, what happens in
No,
the
no.
next
We
time in
have
the dark?
we have gone over 3 months in development, multiple
Mm-hmm.
iterations of pumps. I have pumps lying all around in my house at this point of time because my wife is also expecting. She's now tired of these pumps. I have one piece lying everywhere almost right now. We went through multiple iterations to make sure that you don't have to go through multiple iterations because we face these issues of pumping. My baby was in the NICU, born in January. He was in NICU for 10 days. So we bought every pump out there in the market, Medela, Spectra, Love Lab, and I don't know, a few manual ones also. So I have a complete collection of pumps. But that's when I realized we all realized, all of us at Baby Nama somehow had that journey where we had multiple mothers in the team in a few months' time. So that's where we decided there's a big problem in the pump market. But anyway, we will be. I'll be happy to take any questions around the Kinderness pump, particularly after the webinar. Right now, I have limited
Mm-hmm.
time with Sushmita ma'am, so
Yeah.
if you have any question related to in general breast pumping, I like to make best use of Sushmita ma'am's time.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Ayushi ma'am, if you have any question on the in general pumping part, please let us know your status and as in if you're expecting or you have a baby and ask your questions.
Hello.
Yes, yes, Ayushi ma'am.
Actually, I want to ask, uh, jump into the question regarding the pumping part. I just want to ask, I'm just using the Pro Mom, uh,
Wearable pump.
yes, wearable pump, and I am not sure about whether it is suitable or whether it is right kind of pump for me or not.
All right.
Because this is the only pump I'm using, and there is another hand pump which was available at the time of my pregnancy, because my baby was not able to latch as I'm having the C-section.
Hmm.
So I have and I have having this issue of flat nipple. So I'm just trying my hard, but recently I'm just using that pump. So can you suggest me whether it is the right kind of a pump for me or not?
All right. So, Ayushi, how old is your baby?
25 days.
Okay. So you have only been pumping like these past 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So were you able to meet the baby's need with the wearable pump which you have?
No, not at all, because I just only have I only used to do pumping 3 to 4 times a day, because I
Mhm.
only get the time
Understood.
for this. And secondly, I just only get 30 to 60 ml
Hmm.
at a time, at one time,
Okay. Okay.
from
So
both the breast. Hanji.
understood. So actually 30 to 60 ml at this time is actually a good quantity. Don't worry. But my suggestion is, see, once again, as I also mentioned in the webinar, wearable pumps are designed in such a way that it could remove whatever milk is there in the breast. So their suction level and the motor efficiency is made in that way because it has to be lightweight, portable, and everything, right? So
Okay.
in that case, if your goal is to long time pump, your baby is not latching and you just wanted to pump and offer the feed to the baby, my first suggestion is have this wearable pump like an usage during night time or whenever you are going out or something, but always have a primary pump with you. When I say primary pump, the electric pump with the folding, like you have seen the Kindernest pump, right? So something like
Yes.
that where you could hold and the motor is outside, because always their sucking efficiency, the pressure would always be greater.
Okay.
Okay, and one more thing coming to your pumping, like considering your baby is 25 days, I would suggest you to space out the pumping duration and increase the number of pumping times if possible. I understand it's difficult, but initial days, if you try to space out and have a pumping session with 1 or 2 sessions in the night as well, it will manage the supply for long term.
Okay, I'll just try during night time, because that is the only part when I'm missing the pumping
All right,
because of the hectic routine. I'm not able to
understood.
wake up during the night time.
Definitely. I know it's very difficult with the newborn and pumping
Yeah,
as well. I'm sure we know it's
it is
difficult.
very exhausting for me for the whole, because I just always feeling sleepy, just because I'm the only one who is managing everything, because my husband is also busy, and my mother-in-law is
Oh,
also busy with other work, so I'm not able to get that help or support which I just really need.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely. You're doing something great. In that case, that's what. See, in the night time, if you're not able to sit on and hold the pump, in that case, you could still use the variable and try to manage. But in the daytime, if possible, you could definitely start with an, electric pump holding, not the variable ones.
Okay, okay.
All right.
So I think this is not which is I'm just asking one question.
Yeah.
I just need a brief answer for this. I know this is not related to the session, today's session, but I just need, there is any scope that my baby is going to latch now, because everyone who ever come to my home and just say this to me ki, now it's more than 20 days now, it's he will not going to latch now, this time has gone, so I just get very disheartened and very negative, just I just don't want to pump for my whole
Okay.
this
All right.
so I just wanted to have some positive thing from your side, that whether I'm going to breastfeed directly to my baby or not.
All right. So, Aishi, if your goal is to breastfeed, if you want your baby to be, come back to your breast, it's definitely possible at 1 month. It might take a little time for your baby to understand, get back to breast based on baby's preference towards bottle and everything. But I'm sure it's possible. Yeah, I think you could see the, I think mine could explain this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a myth. I mean, I'm tired of people telling it that, twins cannot exclusively breastfeed. After 1 month, you cannot exclusively breastfeed. You can see on this webinar. So, while pump is a great tool, Baby Nama believes in exclusive breastfeeding. I'll make that very clear. We are taking this session on pumps. We are giving some offer on pump, but for us, it has always been a goal that you enjoy exclusive breastfeeding, not for your baby, but for yourself, I'll say, because you will feel
See,
elated. You'll feel on the top of the world when the baby breastfeed. That's what my wife told me. We also had a lot of initial struggles because my baby was in an ICU for 10 days.
okay,
But you can see on the screen here through our breastfeeding training program, we have helped mothers at 3 months and 4 months also to breastfeed. But it requires time, it requires effort, it requires guidance. So you can check out the breastfeeding training program. We have listed it on the application or the babynama.com website. In the programs section, you can check out our breastfeeding training program. So do not lose hope. Obviously, it is challenging, but by 2 weeks, if your breastfeeding is not normalized, this is again for all the expecting moms as well in today's webinar. By 2 weeks, if your breastfeeding is not normalized, do seek out an expert, try to get it resolved as soon as possible. Yes, we've had success at 3 months and 4 months, but do not wait for so long. Do not, because babies, when they get older, it becomes difficult for even our experts to train the babies, right? So do not lose
okay.
hope. Do pump, but it's very tiring, very difficult, managing pumping schedule and everything. When baby is exclusively breastfeeding, it gets very easy for you. So do not give up on that. And obviously, if you need help, our experts are here.
Well,
All right,
thank you so much.
sure. With that, I'd like to move on to the next question. Yes, Aisha's iPhone, I've given you the permission to speak.
Hi, good morning, Mayank.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ma'am, my question is I'm 29 weeks pregnant as of now.
Hmm.
And with whatever I've read and learned, I'm planning to go for mixed feeding.
Hmm.
So initially, of course, I want to start with exclusive breastfeeding, but because of my work, the nature of my work, towards like a month and a half, I want to like start going back to work.
Hmm.
So I wanted to understand, like I'm going in for the Spectra. I've already got it, the Spectra one.
Okay.
Um, I wanted to know your experience with that electric pump. That's my first question. The second one would be the feeding schedule. You said 8 to 12 sessions initially, but how does one, let's say 20 minutes, the baby is fed through the breast? Then when do you breastfeed? When do you start pumping again? Like, I'm a little confused about schedule.
All right, all right. So Aisha, definitely yes. All the pumps are actually good once you start using it right. I've seen mothers. Spectra is definitely a good pump, but if you are not using the right settings or right suction level, I've seen still struggling with the low supply. So you have a good pump, but you just have to find out the right settings and vacuum level for you. I know, which is what I would suggest. And coming to the pumping, see, it actually depends on what happens post delivery. Like, say that your baby, after baby is born, the baby latches on well, takes the feed well. Do not start pumping at that point. As I told you, for the first 3 to 4 weeks, let your body understand your baby's demand, because the first 2 weeks your body will produce more milk than your baby's expectation, because your body will not know how much baby wants. It will always produce more. Though we always feel like in the initial days the milk supply is low, it's not the case. It will increase in the second, third week as such. Once the latching all goes well, then you need to work on pumping. Then after fourth week or fifth week, you could start with pumping. Ideally, if you are still latching the baby, I would suggest you, after feeding the baby, you could pump out the remaining milk from the breast. So
Okay.
obviously you will get very less quantity. I'm sure 5 ml, 10 ml is what you get. But one good thing is you're emptying the breast by pumping, right? So milk supply will be managed, and you could use the milk for the next feeding session, or if you wanted to store it, then that is also great. I would suggest you to start like this for the initial few days. Now, say that you're going back to work by 3 months or 2.5 months, according
Yes.
2 to 3 weeks before, I would suggest you, based on what time, like say your baby is latching very well every time, no issues at all, then continue with pumping post feeding always.
Okay, right after feeding.
Right after feeding. Sometimes, if your supply is good, your baby might take only one side, the other side breast is still not emptied, and your baby sleeps for good 3 hours after that. In that case, take that advantage of pumping from the other side.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm guessing here, we don't know how it would go.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
accordingly, by chance, if a baby is latching, do not start pumping at the early stage. Take it slow as possible.
Yes, got that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Aisha.
All right. So we'll take two more questions, one from Divya, other from Neethi. So Divya ma'am, I've given you the permission to speak. Please let us know if you have a baby, how old is baby, or what stage of pregnancy.
Hi. I am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm basically 30 weeks pregnant right now, and I'm looking after the pumping options. So as per the session, ma'am told how to measure your nipple size and select the flange accordingly. So I wanted to know that, ma'am, according to that, I just measured it's around 17 mm. Both are different. One is 17, one is coming out to be 18. So in Kindernest, what flange option is available?
You'll get the 19 one, which will be most appropriate. Like we said, you have to add 3 mm to it. So the
If
sorry,
the 17
21,
mm size is there, then what size should I choose for
21.
21? Okay.
Right. Like we mentioned in the webinar also, you add 1 to 3 mm, so that is comfortable. So you can add 3 mm to it. So 21 would be a good fit. Also, after placing order, our team will reach out to you. So you can, we can also share link of those inserts you can buy from Amazon. So those inserts, compatible inserts. So in
With
case you have a
Kindernest. Inserts compatible with Kindernest pump.
those inserts are compatible with all pumps actually.
Okay.
Spectra, Kindernest, Love Lab, any pump you have, those things are. But one thing we have definitely added is we saw that a majority of pumps are coming in 24 mm, but majority of Indian moms need 21 mm. So for
Correct.
you,
Correct.
21 mm should be sufficient. So 21 mm is in the box. 24 and 21 mm are in the box. In case you require an even smaller one, we do have certain flanges for 19 mm as well. Our team will reach out to you. We can add it in the
So
box. Not a
21 and
problem. Anyway,
24
after
mm
you
are in the single box.
are by default in the box.
Okay.
By default in the box.
And one more question I
By
have.
default in the box.
One more question I have. Like right now, since milk is not there, and is it like the nipple size is going to remain the same, or once the milk filling is done, then the nipple size
Yeah,
grows?
I think I just wanted to insist on this. I'm sure for some mothers, the nipple size would be vary after the delivery. So this is a
Okay.
tricky thing here. I won't say always. Sometimes you notice the nipple size gets little bigger. So
Hmm.
ideally, I think, yeah, I'm sure with the pump you have the 21 and 24. You could, keep it ready. By chance, you feel
Okay.
the nipple size, I'm sure if it is bigger, it is going to fit you. If you still feel it's way too small, then you could get the inserts as well.
Okay. So
So pre and
17
post
is
pumping size is different. So always
Different, yeah.
right. So even like just pre or post pump, the nipple size, if you measure, it will be different. So our
okay.
recommendation is to measure the nipple size pre-pumping.
Okay, so it is advisable as what ma'am said, ki 2 to 3 weeks you go naturally and then you go get a pump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depends
yeah,
on case to
yeah.
case basis as well, right? But if
Okay.
you are in that situation, whether you are facing latching issues from day one,
Okay.
which we see a lot these days, frankly. So in that case, it's better to have a pump with you,
In
or
advance.
just ask your
Okay.
hospital if they have a pump. If most hospitals do provide a pump, usable pump, a common pump, so that at least you are not left wanting in that emergency, right? That's
Okay.
so in that case, you will have to just buy whatever pump the hospital is providing you. You won't have any time to prepare. So at
Okay.
least confirm all of you, confirm with your hospital if they are going to provide you a pump or not in case you need. I'm sure most hospitals do that, but in case they don't, make sure to carry a electric pump in your hospital bag so that you're not left wanting in that last minute kind of a lurch.
So what is the approximately delivery time for Kindernest pump? Like if we order, how long it takes to reach us all pan India?
So currently it takes about 5 to 7 days pan India.
5 to 7 days. Okay.
Right.
Thank you so
In
much,
North
sir.
India, it reaches a little early. South India, it takes time because we are dispatching everything from Gurgaon right now.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure, sure. All right. One last question probably for today will take from Neeti ma'am. Ruchira ma'am, if I have time, I'll allow you the question. Neeti ma'am, please unmute. Yeah, let us know your status of motherhood and please ask your question.
Yeah, hi, sir. So now I have a baby who's like 5.5 weeks old, and I was able to breastfeed exclusively only for the first 3, 4 days of his life, and after that I started giving him formula. So my question is, I have a Spectra S1 pump, and it came with a 24 mm flange,
Mhm.
and and my nipple size when I measured it was 23. So I did go ahead, and when I added 3 mm, I went for the next size, which was 28. And when I use the 28 mm, I see that a part of my areola is also getting sucked in. So I went back to using 24 mm, and I'm hardly getting like 5 to 10 ml per pumping session. So
Oh,
because of that, I felt really like heartbroken, and kind of since the last couple of days I stopped pumping. So I just wanted to ask, like, with the 24 mm pump, will I still be able to, with a proper schedule, like you said, 2 to 3 hours and night pumping sessions, will I still be
uh,
able to establish a good supply now?
Niti, definitely, yes, there are few factors that we need to look on for. The first thing is, have you measured the nipple size right? Now, how did you measure your nipple size, Niti? Was it using a scale?
Yeah, using a scale.
Okay, all right. So because most of the time when we try to use a scale, like say you ask someone to see from the opposite side, it could be little 1 or 2 mm bigger. Sometimes it could be smaller. As you know, adding only 1 2 mm, would give you a right fit. So my suggestion is try measuring the nipple once again. Oh, I
Okay.
mean, before pumping, not after pumping. Or if the scale is giving you a confusion, as I told you, there are pro circles which you could, put on inside and, get the size right first, because that's something is very much essential when you're starting with pumping, and get the right flanges and see whether your size is smaller or bigger. And next thing is your health factor. Like say that what else is hindering? Like, did you have any health concerns like, thyroid dysregulation or sugar dysregulation as such?
No, ma'am, nothing as
Nothing
such.
as such. Okay. In that case, if you're having breastfeeding in the first few days and then you had been pumping, but only you notice the supply is kind of not coming well, we may need to first check the flange. Second is what suction level you're trying. I'm sure I'm just guessing here, but only when I get to know how you are going into a pattern, we'll understand. Now, I'm sure with the spectra, there is a little change. Like if you have the S1, I'm sure when you start, it will go with the expression. Then only when you click on the stimulation. Have you noticed it?
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, don't go with the default level which the pump gives you. Right.
Okay.
So always try experimenting it. Like this pumping, if you're doing at level 3, the next pumping you try at around level 5. Both stimulation and expression, you have to keep changing the levels and get to see which one is giving you a better output, and hands-on expression even while pumping. And definitely a scheduled pumping is going to help you.
Okay. And with the okay, so one more thing that I've noticed, like you said, when I start off with the pumping, I see that the nipple is exactly in the middle of the flange, the tube. But after 5 minutes, the nipple size increases and it starts touching,
Touch.
yeah, the
Okay.
surrounding.
All right. I'm sure the size fit is not right, is what I guess. Not a supply as such.
Okay.
I want you to check the size again, once again,
Okay.
and then see whether it fits you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right, Nitya. So just the point we were making, you can buy the base pump, but you also need the right fitting, right guidance, right scheduling. So a lot of things go into the pump. It's not so easy that you have a pump and it starts working. And that is what we have seen. In fact, a lot of people stopped believing in pumps. Pumps are great tools. They have helped countless mothers, but wrong usage of pump is something which you should be beware of. All right, so I think that is all the questions we had. Okay, maybe one last question we can take. Ruchira ma'am, please tell us your motherhood status right now, and please ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, I tried breastfeeding to my kid, but he is now 1 month almost. But because of latching issue, he is not able to breastfeed. So I'm using the Philips Event electric pump, but I'm getting only 40 ml or 30 ml in that. So is it like due to the flange size that I'm not able to express it out?
Could be a possibility, Ruchira. Have you tried measuring your nipple size?
No, no.
No. Okay. All right. In that case, first try to measure the nipple size, get the right flange fit first. And
Okay,
30 to 40 is not low. Don't worry. As I told you, there are multiple factors you need to work on for when it comes to pumping. First is the fit. So check on the flange. Second is
okay,
by chance, if even with the flange, if you notice 30 to 40 is the range, understand your breast capacity is less, not the supply again. So,
okay,
which means you may need to pump a little more frequently to get that quantity your baby requires. Right. So I
okay.
would suggest you to look on both the pumping duration and the flange fit.
Yeah, I'm already pumping for 7 times in a day for
Nice, nice.
20
Okay.
minutes, 15 minutes at each side.
Okay. Okay. Are you able to notice the droplets coming out to the first 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you notice the areola also moves inside the nipple, or only the nipple? I mean the flange, or only the nipple moves?
only nipple.
Only the nipple moves. Okay.
And
So just try to measure your nipple size once again, because I'm sure most of the mothers you would get confused. If you are having a very small nipple, the areola
mm,
nipple would almost look, more of similar. Even it's very difficult for the experts as to understand where exactly the nipple base ends in. So by chance,
okay,
if you notice you have a very small nipple, ideally your size will always be less. Okay.
okay,
So better try to measure the nipple size and try fixing it. If not, definitely we need to look on for other factors.
okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Ruchira ma'am. So luckily we were able to resolve all the questions we had in today's webinar. So thank you, Sushmita ma'am, for this wonderful session. And before leaving, any final words of advice for mothers and expecting mothers who are attending?
Definitely. So for every mothers expecting or new mothers, pumping is not always necessary, but pumping is not harmful as well. right? So I'm sure you would have heard pumping might lead to, I have even heard pumping might lead to cancer as well. Definitely nothing as such, but using a right pump, right fit, and right timing is definitely going to help. I would say just look at how the breastfeeding journey is going and act quickly. That's what I would like to say. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Act quickly, be prepared. That is the hope. So if anybody has any questions on the Kindernest breast pump, I'll be happy to take those questions now. Where is the screen? Sorry. Yeah. So what happens is, as we mentioned, it's not always the brand of the pump or other things. Mainly, it's the suction power, the design. So which we have tried to incorporate the stuff from the best brands like Spectra and other things and match their specification, but made a few alterations where we felt their brands were lacking, like coming in the variable flange sizes or coming with a lactation complementary lactation consultation, because it's not just going to be the pump. We've seen in today's webinar, even with Spectra pump, it's not a guarantee that you'll be able to get the right amount, but I'm sure with the lactation guidance, you can get the best output of whatever pump you are having, right? No pump, as per our understanding, all the pumps have been able to give decent outputs, right? What we're trying to bring here to the table is finishing the design plus giving that lactation consultation, which our experts can guide you with the right fit and other parts.